Hi guys, welcome back to Hookebysimplicio. This is Jelaine, and for today's video guys, I'm going to show you how I made my simple crochet summer dress. I'll be providing all the instructions on the video, and this is just a simple dress with a strap here, and I'll be also posting a link of the video where I got an inspiration about the top, so guys, you'll be able to see what I mean by that. And if I'm not mistaken, the creator of that top has a website and also has a YouTube channel, which I'll be posting that on the description down below, so you can check that out. And also, if you wanted to know how I made this headband, I'll also be putting the link on the description box below, so you'll be able to see how I made this. And also guys, again, if you have questions or any confusion about the video, you can always send me a message through my Instagram and through my Facebook page at Hookebysimplicio, and I'll answer all of your questions as much as I can. And let's get started with the video. I hope you enjoy it. So hi guys, so for today we're gonna start with the materials that we are going to use. So the first thing that I'm going to show you guys is the yarn that I'm going to use. This is the same yarn that I used with my previous tutorial. It's just that this one has thinner strands compared to the first yarn that I used, and I bought this from a different online shop on Facebook. I'll be posting the description down below where I bought this yarn, and this is called cotton candy gradient yarn because it has like a different color from the inside and different color from the outside, and it changes color every time you use them. So I'll be using 2 balls because, as I mentioned, it's too thin for the project that we will be making. And the next one that I'll be needing is a 5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and this is my favorite yarn needle that I also showed on my previous tutorial. And also we will be needing stitch markers. Since I can't find mine, I'll be using a hair clip or a bobby pin rather. Alright, so we're gonna start. So I'm gonna grab this 2 yarns. This came from the other, and the other one came from the other ball. And first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a slip knot. So as I mentioned before, you're going to hold the loose end on this side, and then you're gonna grab this one, the yarn that is connected to the yarn ball. You're gonna make infinity sign or number 8, and you're gonna use these 2 fingers to grab the loose end, and you're just gonna pull it like this. I'm gonna put my hook and first we're going to start with chaining 51, and this is for my size. So once you already have chained 51, we're gonna do a half double crochet on the second chain from the hook, which is this one. Now when I'm doing half double crochet, I don't put my hook in this loop right here. I put the stitch behind it, which this loop behind it, if you can see it. There you go. I put it right behind here. So again, we're going to do a half double crochet from the second chain from the hook, which is this one, and we're going to put it on this loop right here, this loop behind here. I'll show you later why. So doing half double crochet is you're gonna yarn over, put your hook through this loop right here, you're gonna yarn over and then pull through 3 loops, and you have your first half double crochet. And you're gonna do another one, and by the end of this row you should have 50 half double crochets in total. So make your half double crochets until the end of this chain, and then we'll do the next row together. So I'm down to my last 3 chains, and I'll show you guys in a bit why I do my half double crochet on the back loop of the chain. So I'm done with this row, and as you can see, this still looks like a stitch even though it's the first chain that we made. This is the reason why I am doing the half double crochet on the back loop of the chain, because since we're going to add like a lazy design on the dress, I wanted to make sure that I'll be able to see the stitches right away. And now we're on the second row, so we're gonna do chain 1 and we're gonna turn our work around, and this chain doesn't count as a half double crochet, and we're gonna do half double crochet on this very first stitch across this stitches. So you should be able to have 50 half double crochets across. So you're just simply gonna do half double crochet here. There's no complicated stitches that you're going to do. And you will continue making half double crochets for about 18 rows. So go ahead and make your 18 rows of half double crochet, and then after that, let's proceed with making the dress. I am now almost done on my 18th row of the top of the dress. So with regards to this, I don't actually have a written pattern, but I was able to watch the tutorial of this top from one of the YouTubers, and she do actually have a free written pattern for this top on her website. So I will be posting her YouTube tutorial for this top and the written pattern to her website as well, so for you guys to see the written pattern for your sizes. This size that I am making is actually for size small. I believe she has a written pattern for up until size small to, if I'm not mistaken, double XL. I wish I was right, but I'll just put the link on the description down below so you can guys check out her website and her channel as well. So after this row, we are now going to make like the V kind of shape of the dress. I'll show you guys after I'm done with this row. And I'm down to my last 2 half double crochets. There you go. And earlier, what I mean by like the V kind of thing of the top, I've already made one off cam, so here's what I'm talking about, this one. So we're gonna start with this part of the top after we have made the 18 rows of half double crochets. Now what I do when I'm making this top, I always put a stitch marker on the very end and from the very beginning of the stitch, because when we sew the top together we have to make sure that we have that. So now chaining 1, and then I'll turn my work, and this is where I'll be putting my stitch marker, not on the chain but underneath the chain that we just made. Right. And after chaining 1, we are going to do a 2 half double crochet together. So this is the first one, and you're gonna yarn over and put your hook on this loop and then pull through there. So you're going to have 5 loops on your hook, and then you're gonna yarn over and pull through all of those loops. So what we're going to do here is we're going to decrease on each side for the first triangle part of the top. So this is the first decrease, and then we're going to do 22 half double crochets. So at the end of this row, you should have a total of 23 half double crochets, and again, the chain 1 that we made here earlier doesn't count as a half double crochet. Now we're gonna chain 1 and we're gonna turn our work around. Now on this part, we are now also going to do a decrease. So you're going to yarn over, put your hook through this loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and then pull through the next stitch, and then yarn over, pull through all of those loops. And what's gonna happen on this one is you're going to decrease 2 stitches every row, 1 decrease on each side of the row. So before we did our decrease here, we have 23 stitches or 23 half double crochet. So on the next row we should have 21, and on the next one we should have 19, until we only have 3 half double crochets left. Okay, alright, so I'm on my last row. I'm just doing the decrease here, so I should have 3 half double crochets after this. So I already have my first half double crochet, my second, and this is my third. Then we're gonna chain 1 again. So always keep in mind that the chain 1s that we're doing for this tutorial doesn't count as a stitch, just for this top right here. And now, as I mentioned earlier, we should have 3 stitches that is left on this top right here, which we're going to make the strap part, which is this strap right here. This is 1. So I am now on the strap part. So we're going to do 30 rows of half double crochet. So since we've already made a chain 1, I'm going to turn my work, half double crochet on this very first stitch, and then on the next one, and to the next one. So we're just gonna do this until we have 30 rows of half double crochets. And once you have done 30 rows, we're going to fasten off, and then I'm gonna show you how we're going to start the next part of the top. Alright, so I am down to my last row. This is my 30th row. There you go. And now after that, we're going to chain 1. We're going to turn our work, and then after we turn our work, I am going to half double crochet all of the stitches together. So what I'm gonna basically do is wrap the yarn around my hook, put it inside the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and then pull through this loop, yarn over, and then pull through this loop. So you should have a total of 7 stitches on your hook. You're gonna yarn over and then pull through all of these loops, and then you're going to chain 1, and we are gonna fasten off. We're just gonna tighten this stitch right there. Alright, so this is like gonna be the end of our top. So this is the first part of the top, and we are gonna pretty much gonna do the same thing on the other one. Alright, so now I am on my last row for this strap. And we're just gonna do 3 half double crochets together on this part right here, and we're gonna fasten it off. Now we are now gonna start stitching the first top that I already made to this other one right here. So as I mentioned, I've already made one of this kind of top off camera, and now we're just gonna stitch them up together. There you go. So the stitch that we're gonna stitch it together from my bobby pin down. And the reason why I have a bobby pin, I don't want to stitch my top up until this part right here. So we are going to start stitching all of this together. Right? So I did change the angle of my camera for you guys to see what exactly I am doing with the top. So I am now gonna start to stitch them up together. So I'm gonna start from this bottom up until to the bobby pin. So I'm just gonna grab my yarn here and my yarn needle. So I always thread long yarn here on my work. I don't know why, but I just wanted some extra just in case something went wrong. And I'm just going to tie the end of my yarn, and we're gonna start with stitching up our top here. So I'm gonna start from this very end, or with the knot or the slip stitch that was made from the very first, or from the beginning of our chain. So I'll just hide this tail ends later on. And I don't know how you call this stitch that I'm going to do, but this is like the stitch that I always do when making my top or with whatever project that I have. Alright, so I'm already done sewing the top, and this is what the inside looks like, and this is what it looks like from the outside. So as I mentioned earlier, there's a YouTuber who actually creates this top. You can check her out. You can create this as a top as well, but I'll be making this into a dress. So after we sew in the top, we are now going to start the lace part of this dress. Alright, so since we're done with the upper part of the dress, we are now going to start the lace design of the dress. So the lace design that I mean is, if you saw my intro earlier, that's actually the lace design on the waist part of my dress. That's what we're gonna do next. So I'll put a picture either here or here for you guys to see the lace design that I mentioned. But I already finished one dress, and this is the lace design that I am talking about. This one. So this is the lace design that I am talking about. Let me zoom you guys in. There. This is the lace design that we're going to do next. So let's see what we can do with this one. So let's get started. Let's grab our top that we made earlier. Alright, so we are now gonna start the design. And it's actually up to you where you want it to start, with creating your top or with creating your lace design for the dress. I will start here, and always keep this in mind that if you're going to add the design on your dress, do not crochet from this side because the design will be inside. So if you want the design to show from the outside, you have to crochet, or you have to work your project facing towards you. So what I mean facing towards you, make sure that the one that is like for the neck part or the chest part should be facing you. So this is what it looks like, and you always have to start on the left side for you to be able to show the design that we are making. So let's go ahead and start the lace design, and I will start from this very first stitch that I can see here. And now you'll see the reason why I wanted you to do a half double crochet on the back loop of the chain, because it still looks like a stitch for your crochet, even though it's your starting chain. So let's go ahead and start with the lace design. So what I do, as I mentioned, you're going to insert your hook from this very first stitch, this stitch right here, if you can see that. We're just gonna do like a simple slip stitch, and this will act as our chain one. So the chain one for this row still doesn't count as a stitch. So this is a chain one. Consider this as a chain one, and on the same stitch that you have here, you are going to do a single crochet. There you go. And then you're gonna chain 2, and you're gonna skip 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and on this next stitch you're going to do a V stitch. So you're just gonna yarn over, put your hook through that loop, pull through that loop, and then make a half double crochet, chain 2, and then make another double crochet in that same stitch, and you have your V-stitch. Now you're going to chain 2 again, and after that you're going to skip 2. So 1, 2, 3. On the third stitch you're going to do a single crochet. So basically you're just gonna do this around this part right here for you to have the lace effect. So let me do that again for you guys. So once you're done with your single crochet, you're gonna chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and on the next stitch you're going to do a V-stitch. So V-stitch is you're going to double crochet on that stitch, chain 2, double crochet on the same stitch, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and on the third stitch you're going to do a single crochet. And this is how you make the lace design of the top. So if you can see, the design is facing outward, so this is what we want for our lace. So I'm just gonna keep doing this until I reach this side right here, and then after that we're going to do like a puff stitch on this next row. Okay, alright, so I am now down on my last stitches here. And this is my last chain 2, and on the very first single crochet you made earlier you're gonna do a slip stitch. So this is how your work should look like. Now we're on the next row after this, so we'll be able to see the real design of this lace part right here. So on this row we're going to chain 3, and again this doesn't count as a stitch, but this is our chain 3, and then we're gonna add 2 chains. So this is a total of 5 chains, and we are now gonna do the next design that we're gonna do. So we're gonna make like a puff stitch in this part right here in the middle of the triangle. If you guys can see that, this triangle right here. So here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna yarn over, put our hook through this hole, yarn over, pull through, so that counts as 1, yarn over, pull through that hole, this is our second, you're just gonna do it again, 3, 4, 5. So you're gonna do that 5 times, then you're gonna chain 1, 2, right? So this is the first puff stitch that we're gonna do, so you're gonna make 2 more in the same stitch. Let me show you that again. Yarn over, put your hook through the hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over and pull through all that loops. So you're going to chain 2 and you're going to make another one, and we're going to chain 2 again. There you go. So after chaining 2, you are going to do the same thing. You're going to make 3 puff stitch on the same hole, and you are going to do that all over this stitch right here, or all over the top, and then once you're done, we are going to proceed with the next row. Okay? Alright, so I am done with this puff stitch. So you're just gonna chain 1, and you are going to do a slip stitch on this very top of the chain 2. Right, there you go. And this is how it looks like after. So there you go. They look like tiny shells. So after this, we are now going to proceed on the next row. So on this next row, we are just gonna do a simple double crochet and chain 1. So we're going to chain 3 rather, and then we're going to chain 1, so it's a total of 4 chains, and we're going to double crochet on this chain 2 space, chain 1, double crochet on the next chain space, chain 1, double crochet on the next chain space, chain 1, and then double crochet on this 2 chain space. And you're just gonna do this all over the top until we reach the end. Alright, I'm almost done here, and then you are going to do a slip stitch on the top of the 3 chains, and there you go. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and we're going to do half double crochet around. So on this chain space here, we're gonna do 1 half double crochet, and then 1 half double crochet on this double crochet stitch. Go. And you're gonna do that on the chain 1 space again, half double crochet, and you're going to do another half double crochet. So basically we're gonna do this around the top. What we're gonna do here is half double crochet on the chain 1 space, half double crochet on the double crochet stitch, and then half double crochet on the chain space. So you're gonna do this all over the top until, all over this row, and then once you're done, let's proceed with making the skirt part of the dress. Alright, so on this very last stitch here, you are going to slip stitch on the chain 1 space, or on the chain 1 that we made earlier. Go. And this is how it should look like. There you go. So now we are going to start with the skirt part of the dress. So as before we did have double crochet on this top, we are going to make a double crochet stitch for the skirt part. So this next row will be a increase row. We're going to chain 3, and again this doesn't count as a stitch. So at the very first stitch you're going to do a half double crochet. So this is our first stitch, and this is our second, third, and then on the fourth stitch you're going to do an increase, which you're going to do 2 double crochet stitches. Go. And let me show you that again. You're going to do double crochet on the next 3 stitches, and on the 4th stitch you are going to do an increase. Right? So do this on the rest of the stitches, and then once you're at the end of the row, come back here and I'll show you guys how we're going to increase the next row. Okay? Alright, so I'm done on this first increase, and just again you're going to do a slip stitch on the top of your chain 3. Now we're going to chain 3 again, and we're going to do our first double crochet on this very first stitch, and again this chain doesn't count as a double crochet. So on this next increase row you're going to do a regular double crochet on the next 4 stitches. So this is the first 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th stitch you're going to make an increase, or you're going to do 2 double crochet. So let me show you that. I already have my first double crochet. This is my second, third, 4th. Now on the 5th stitch you're going to do 2 double crochets. You're going to continue that until you get to this row, and then after that we're going to do the next row. Okay? So I'm almost done on this row. And slip stitch on the top of the chain 3. There you go. And now we are going to begin our next increase row. So for this row we're going to chain 3, and again you're going to do a double crochet on the next 5 stitches, and then on the 6th stitch you're going to do 2 double crochet, which is our increase. So this is my first double crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now on the next stitch, which is our 6th stitch, is we're going to do an increase, or we're going to put 2 double crochets. So you're just gonna do this until you reach this end. So just end this row or increase row, then after this we're gonna proceed with our next rows. Okay? So I'm almost done for this row. Alright, so for the next row, I have decided that I'm gonna do an increase. Again, this is gonna be my very last increase for my dress. So I want it to be super flowy, so we're just gonna add another increase row. So we're going to do a double crochet on the next 6 stitches, and on the 7th stitch, that's we're going to increase. So let's start with this one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on the 7th stitch we're going to do our 2 double crochet, which is our increase. You're going to do that around our dress, and as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be our very last increase. I promise this is going to be the last increase, but yeah, so just do this increase, this last increase. So basically we're going to have 4 increases, and then the rest will be just a normal double crochet stitch. Now once we're done here, we're going to proceed with the rest of the dress, and then we're going to do the edging, and then I'll show you the finished product for this dress. Okay, and this is my last increase. Alright, so the next few rows here is just gonna be a double crochet for each row. Now again, it depends on you on how long you want your dress to be. Now we're just gonna do double crochet for the rest of the row for this dress, and then once you're done with the double crochet stitches until you got your desired length, we're gonna do the edging of the dress, and then I'll show you guys how it looks once it's done. Okay. So I'm now on my last row here for the dress. I've already reached my desired length. For this one, I just made 23 rows of double crochet, and it's just enough for the desired length that I wanted. But if you want it to be longer, you could just go ahead and keep on crocheting until you get the length that you wanted. For my height, 23 rows including the increases that we made. That's the total of this dress that I'm making. So I'm just gonna finish this row, and then after this I'm gonna show you guys how I make the edging, because I don't want my dress to look just like this. I want it to have an like just a simple edging. So I'll show you guys later how I do that after I finish my last row of double crochets. So I'm done with this row, and we are now gonna start the edging of my dress. So after our very last row here, I'm gonna show you guys how I did my edging for this dress. That I think for me is I really like it for this, because for this dress it's just a simple edging but still look elegant. So we're just gonna slip stitch on the top of chain 3, and then we're going to chain 3, and we're going to skip 3 double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do a double crochet on the 4th stitch, and then we're going to chain 3, and this counts as a double crochet. Then we're going to double crochet on this double crochet here. So we're going to do 3 double crochets more, so you're going to have a total of 4 double crochets, and this is how it should look like. Now after this, you're going to skip 3 again, and you're going to double crochet on the next stitch after the 3 stitches there. So you're gonna do it on the 4th stitch, and you're going to chain 3, and remember this counts as a double crochet, and you're going to double crochet on 3 more double crochets on the double crochet we made earlier. So this is how it's gonna look like. Repeat it on the whole edging of the dress, and then I'll show you guys how I end, or how we're going to fasten off this part right here, okay? Now on my last part of the edging, and then I am now going to end the edging in a few moments. Let me just finish my double crochets here. There you go. And now you're going to do a slip stitch on this top, or on the top of the chain 3, and then we're going to fasten off. So as I have mentioned earlier, this is actually a gradient yarn, so it do actually changes color every time you use them, but I'm gonna show you. This is what the top looks like. It's a solid color from there, and then it actually changes color until here. This was supposed to be pink, but it seems like it's just a lighter color of the green. But this is how the dress looks like. This is what the edging looks. This is what the lace design looks, if you can see that. And this is what the top looks. So I'm gonna show you guys the final look on this dress on the end of my video, or the intro part, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you have any confusions with what I have made for this top, you can always send me a message through my social media accounts. You can reach me out through Instagram or Facebook. I'll go ahead and answer all of your questions if you have questions about this dress that I made. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have questions, don't hesitate to send me a message, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and comment down below whatever questions or anything you want to say about me. I'll try my best to get back to you, okay? Again, my name is Jelaine. Thank you for watching Hookebysimplicio, and you have a great one. Bye.